to 1936. 11 Limerick players starting their third successive Munster final, with Darragh Donovan and Seamus Flanagan starting in their first. Limerick playing from left to right. Tipperary won the toss, playing from the other direction, obviously, from right to left indeed, as Limerick start with the slip run with William O'Donoghue getting the first touch on Pâirc Uí Chaoimh. Bearing down, getting the first foul as Tipperary went with an early foul. It was a bit of a soft one, to be perfectly honest, but a bit of jittery nerves at the very start.
Yeah, just a click on the heel there, but the build up to that, the pick up by Declan Hannon there, just back in the half back line, first touch of the game, unbelievable pick up onto Will O'Donoghue, great link play. That's what Limerick do so well. Michael Breen over on Kyle Hayes, two fantastic athletes. That will be some battle.
In the absence of Aaron Gillan, it is not surprising that Tom Morrissey is the one that's taken the freeze. That goes back off the post. I'm disappointed with that. Attacking the slipper was Gearóid Hegarty, just slipped by him, picked up instead by Ronan Maher. Tipperary full of determination and really focused to try and stop Limerick winning this Munster Championship, and indeed winning the three in a row. Ball comes out towards Kyle Hayes of Kildimo-Pallaskenry, and look at him go. Up fires the Tipperary 45, he uses the short grip. Round of applause, I think it's coming from Tipperary, but early signs what Kyle Hayes can do.
That's a huge run, Marty, but significantly Michael Breen could stay with him there. He put pressure on him and the ball went wide, and that was good work by Breen. Hayes wouldn't have expected anything that close to him.
Ball won by Sean Finn, giving it over for his Declan Hannon. Up first Cian Lynch, lovely hands again. It's Darragh Donovan, first Munster final to start, second wide of the match for the champions.
Yeah, that's three wides, or two wides, and they hit the post. Tom Morrissey on the freeze, that's a big one now, you know, with Aaron Gillan out just for the freeze even. Tom Morrissey would have liked to tip down over.
Tuck out goes to Noel McGrath, to Ronan Maher, dropping in, Tipperary. The radar just not functioning. That's their first chance of having a score, just to the wrong side of the post. Nicky Quaid dropping it down towards Gearóid Hegarty that we've seen so many times in the past. Tipperary have the time and the composure to look around. Alan Flynn having a lash. Again, just a little bit uneasy start for Tipperary. They'll find their rhythm after a while. Short ball. Out for Sean Finn, putting it into space for Cian Lynch. Dan McCormack working hard, but Lynch wins the possession. Seamus Flanagan trying to scoop it away from Pâirc Maher. Coming across there is Peter Casey, laying it off over for his Tom Morrissey, bearing down on goal. This time he doesn't miss. The opening score of the Munster hurling final 2021.
Marty, the game is only 3 minutes old, but the influence of Cian Lynch already, he's absolutely everywhere. He's flying around the pitch. Brendan Maher's on him, just dropping men back around, but Morrissey got that one and tapped it over, and that's brilliant start, lively start, few wides so far. Barry
Hogan's long tuck out, there's an opportunity here. Here's a chance, here's a goal. Jake Morris. Wonderful play, Tipperary. It came from Hogan's tuck out, came to Jake Morris from Nina Airog, bearing down a goal, and he crashed it into the back of the net to beat Nicky Quaid, which doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, and he's standing out, he plays out deep on the wing here, and he followed in brilliantly. Great pick up and straight through, his great pace, super finish.
It's only about their third attempt in terms of scoring. They've had two previous wides to Tipperary, but when they got the chance with Jake Morris, he really finished it well. And they're going for a score from way out the field, but the umpire is going to wave his arms again to the left. The umpires might be wearing their white jackets today. I don't blame them because of the sunshine, but they are very smartly dressed. White shirt and black ties, the four of them. Ball comes down towards Gearóid Hegarty. The tactic is still working, trying to get away from the Tipperary defence. Carl Barrett seems to be tripped. Barrett plays on the slipper, plays on the whistle. Good play by the right corner back. Gives it over for Jason Ford, who whips it high and whips it between the posts. It's a great start for Tipperary. The jittery nerves are gone.
Yeah, and great play by Cathal Barrett. That's what he brings to the team. You know, fierce tenacity, but he's great pace coming out. Ducked through two tackles there, picked out Jason Ford and over the bar and tipped alternating, only playing two in the full forward line with Callan and Morris. Dan McCormick come very deep, as is Jason Ford.
Short puck out for Richie English. He was looking to see who was making the run. There's nobody immediately available. Into the centre. This is Carl Barrett who gave the call. Ball given away, however, Barry Nash. William O'Donoghue had to work very hard for it. Barry Nash comes in. Fair shoulder. Going for possession. Comes back for Dan McCormick. Played well against Clare. Tries to flick it forward. Good work by Alan Flynn. It's all goal in the 26 degrees heat. Comes back for Sean Finn. Gives it on for his Garrod Hegarty. Garrod Hegarty goes for distance down towards Big Seamus. Big Seamus is there. That's Flanagan. Bringing it back out to the 13. He's going to have a go from there. It's a very acute angle. It is a thing of beauty. Big in heart, big in physique, but big in terms of hurling talent and skill.
Yeah, super ball there by Garrett Hegarty. Was it a free in the way in, and but Flanagan moved back outside over the bar. What a frantic start to the game. A few wides so far, but a brilliant start, and the condition, the fitness of these players, unbelievable. Carl
Barrett goes long, very long, dropping it in towards Big Shamey Callan. Did anybody get a touch? Umpire says no. Tuck out for Nicky Quaid. Again, Barry Nash goes short, makes himself available. South Liberty's man. And he goes for the return pass as well. Looking around. Nobody immediately available. Goes down towards Big Seamus Flanagan. Battling with Tony Marr. Calling for the outside is Ronan Marr, younger brother of the fullback. Into the centre. Good play by Tipperary. Good composure. Good use of the hand pass and going long then when it really matters. Opportunity. There's an overlap. There's a chance. Here's for Jason Ford, and that's over the bar. There might be 7,000 people here, but even up here I could hear Jason Ford.
Yeah, look, the composure of the Tipperary backs on the ball there. Every one of them are great hurlers. 2 or 3 involved there. Great ball inside. Unselfish play by Jake Morris, and Ford with his second from play.
Garrod Hegarty and Cian Lynch both going for the same ball. Garrod trying to slip one through for Cian Lynch. Doesn't quite work out. And Tipperary go for distance and go for a score from way out the field. Oh my gosh, that is fantastic play. Wonderful, wonderful point from way out the field by Dan McCormick from Borrisley.
That's what he does so well, Marty. He's so tenacious in the tackle. He's out there. His work rate unbelievable. Just broke in there. Garrett Hegarty just a little bit too fancy. Dan McCormick. If you look at Dan McCormick now, he's down on Cian Lynch for the puck outs and leaving Brendan Maher free. So they're playing with 5 forwards and McCormick working all over the field.
Tuck out again is aimed at Cian Lynch. Magnificent catch again. Good hands. Seamus Flanagan. The hand pass back is not great, but Lynch picks it up in his stride. Survives the challenge. Then tries a goal, and that's over the bar, I think. It's the ref. Yes, the umpire's eventually getting there, confirming that it is Cian Lynch's first score.
Yeah, and he was fouled twice. The ref had the hand up for the advantage, but look at this for a catch. Dan McCormick back on it, but Lynch absolutely brilliant so far. And what a start to this game. 8 minutes in, it's full of life, full of drive and determination.
Attacking the ball from the back is Sean Fenn from Bruff, 3 times an All-Star. Going long as Limerick going a 2-man full forward line. Great ball. Chance for Peter Casey. He decides not to test out Barry Hogan and take the point instead. Peter Casey from the Pâirc getting his first point.
Yeah, Garrett Hegarty getting more influential. Lovely ball into Peter Casey. I think he should have taken on his man, headed for the goals. When you get that chance in the Munster final, go for it, but he tapped it over the bar.
4 points for Limerick, 1 goal and 3 for Tipperary, and they're all from play. No frees so far. And again, 3 Limerick players in that half back line, all available. Great lockdown. It's Tipperary with great tenacity and determination are really up for this Munster final. Alan Flynn from Calladangan is fouled. The referee going to give a free to Tipperary.
Look at Dan McCormick again, her full length dive in, blocked down. Brilliant. Hegarty standing to hit it. I actually think he took a slap when he was on the ground as well there, but he's back on his feet now. Certainly took a slap when he was down there. Alan Flynn fouled for the friend.
Just getting some medical attention. Murphy and Paddy O'Brien all in there. Jason Ford scored a goal and 8 points against Clare. Penalty, 3 frees and 1 from the sideline. Yes. This is dropped in, and that's the first score from a place ball that we've had in this Munster final. That comes almost after 10 minutes. Nicky Craig's puck out is aimed at Cian Lynch, picked up by Jason Ford again, second time round. Between the 45 and 65, almost on the 65. And he hits this from way out, just spontaneously, in one sweeping movement. Beautiful.
Yeah, Jason Ford is at centre forward, John O'Dwyer's on one wing, Michael Breen on the other hand. Jason Ford is drifting off Declan Hannon. Hannon likes to sit back and he's causing havoc. He's three from play and he's picking up everything himself, and Dan McCormick working tirelessly.
Barry Nash and Sean Finn finding Tom Morrissey. Barry Nash gives it long. Toddy Maher, great bit of stuff from the Garda beast in Limerick. And he's looking for the return pass. He'll be up for this clash with James Flanagan, although Flanagan got the first point. And there was a 50-50 ball between them. But good work by the Colonel Sarsfield's man. Wonderful block down again. Tipperary, composed under pressure. Toddy Maher looks around to see anybody down the right wing, decides to change the direction. Good play, making a little bit of space. Great work by Seamie Callanan. John O'Dwyer, however, can't capitalise on it. He was under pressure. That's the fifth wide of the match for Tipperary. Have scored a goal in 5. Straight down the middle. Harold Hegarty. For the first time, he has the composure, the space, and he avails of all of those qualities to put that over the bar for his first point.
Yeah, it's his first score, but he has been influential. At time there, people drifted off him and he just turned around and took a simple point.
5 of the 6 Limerick forwards have now scored. John O'Dwyer going for that point again. He knows it himself. Body language says it all.
And it's taken the Limerick defenders a while to figure out the movement of the Tipperary forwards. They're absolutely moving all over the place. Jake Morris switching with Bubbles again. They're playing 2 in the full forward line, then 3. Dan McCormick is in and out. And again, that Bubbles will be disappointed. That's an easy chance for someone of his calibre.
Tom Morrissey giving it back. Far as Dermot Burns. Diagonal ball over to Seamus Flanagan. This time he gets ahead of Toddy Maher. Turns the engine around and goes in the opposite direction and hits it sweetly between the posts. Scored a goal and a point against Tipperary in the championship in that awful day last year. He's already making a mark, the big full forward.
A brilliant touch there and a brilliant score. And a great ball by Dermot Burns, fantastic on the diagonal. Here's the goal long again.
Barry Hogan dropping it in around the square. Back there. Making sure that everything was right from a Limerick perspective was Darragh Donovan. Coming back, that was Declan Hannon, that was Darragh Donovan further out, and the ball comes out to the Tipperary man, and he puts that between the post and over the bar, and it's Jason Ford with his 5th point in the game.
Yeah, and you can't blame Declan Hannon for that. It was a bad ball out of Dermot Burns, too hard at Darragh Donovan's feet, but that's 4 from play in the first 13 minutes, and I think Declan Hannon is in trouble, big trouble on Jason Ford.
Sideline ball. Going to Limerick. John Kiley, manager of this Limerick side for the 5th year in a row. Nice ball in towards William O'Donoghue. Toddy Maher comes out to a lovely little stick hook by the Turles man. Great play by the fullback. He'll flick up by Ronan Maher. Good play over from Barry Heffernan. Excellent play, Tipperary. Away goes Seamus Kennedy from the St Mary's club. Good footballer as well. Fine hurler, but just alongside again the post. We now have registered 7 points.
Yeah, they're really keeping Limerick in it. That should have been flicked on to Noel McGrath. That was a reckless shot there from Seamus Kennedy.
Tom Morrissey, straight from Nicky Craig's puck out, sends this superbly between the posts. Straight, simple, long puck out, long ball. Morrissey out by the wing. He has the ability to put it between the posts.
Yeah, the Limerick half-forward line already hugely influential. Hegarty, Morrissey, Lynch all playing super.
Long puck up from Barry Hogan. Declan Hannon comes across. Looks again. Shows the composure. 2 against 1 here. Tipperary man is Barry Heffernan. Opportunity for Jason Ford, unmarked momentarily, and the umpire is bending his back again for another white flag. Jason Ford is on fire, and Limerick have to do something about it.
They do, but look again, Mark, the composure of the Tipperary backs, they're all such great hurlers. Brilliant catch by Heffernan, but Ford is just moving left and right. He's causing havoc, and they need to put somebody on, and none of the rest of the tip forwards making much of an impact, but he is absolutely going to them.
It looks like that William O'Donoghue is taking up the responsibility of marking Jason Ford at the moment there in the middle of the field, but it's hard to mark him because he's...
Well, Liam O'Shea's fingerprints all over this performance. We've seen it before from the tip forwards. Their movement fantastic.
Kyle Hayes beating a track down the way. Lovely stick work. Heading towards the 20. Referee Paul Dwyer says it's a free out. There was just a little notion that Kyle was heading towards the ground, but not too sure whether that's the right decision.
There's Dan McCormick. You can see him well wrapped around him, down over him. I don't know. That's a free. Brilliant piece of skill. Twice off the ground. Dan McCormick in over his back. That's a free in.
Ball back in towards the Tipperary full forward line. Lovely little stick work again. Difficult enough angle there. Slices off the boss of the hurling from Noel McGrath. Ball is wide.
Yeah, if you look inside there, Shelby Callan had backed off of Sean Finn is the nearest one to him there. He was looking for the pass. He backed away. If Noel saw him, he looked up, but he chose to tap it over and he missed it.
Kyle Hayes again. Darrell Donovan down towards Seamus Flanagan. Ronan Maher gone back to collect. Long ball again. Once they get the ball around the half back and they're going long, 9 times out of 10 Tipperary. Ball down towards the forward line, particularly Graham Mulcahy. No foul committed. Tuck out for Barry Hogan.
Yeah, Limerick come very direct into the full forward line. They usually play it through the half forward line, but they hit a lot of ball in there. Seamus Flanagan has scored 2, but both Peter Casey and Graham Mulcahy very quiet so far. Barry Heffernan's having a fantastic season. Kyle Barrett so tight as well. So Aaron Gillan will be talking about it, I'm sure, before half time or around that time.
Barry Nash under the breaking ball, picked up by John O'Dwyer, given for Shamie Calman. He runs away. He knows he has scored. Excellent touch by the Tipperary captain.
And he's so cool in those positions. Just such confidence in his own ability. Here's the water break. What a start. Apart from the wides, it's been an absolutely savage, entertaining game.
It's hard to believe that it's 26 degrees. 5 of the Tipperary, of the Limerick forwards have scored, and 4 of the Tipperary forwards have scored. Let's go down to the sideline for up close and personal to our reporter this afternoon, Damien Lawler. Your view of the match so far, Damien?
Well, I'm just watching both sidelines here, Marty. It's pretty thunderous on the sideline as well. Jason Ford is obviously having a great quarter, and John Kiley has just come in to ask his players to push up hard on Jason Ford. Tipperary, well, they're retreating off the Limerick Cup out. They've done that all this year, but the big difference is they're playing 2 in their full forward line, and every other Tipperary player has been encouraged and asked to press Limerick from there on in. They're also looking to spread the play across the pitch and to use every bit of spaces there. Limerick feel there's a bit of change to be got in the right side of their attack as well, so they're trying to exploit a bit of space up there. So far, one other thing to watch as well, Cian Lynch has looked to pick up a small bit of a knock. The Limerick sent in both doctor and physio to keep an eye on him. So it's just hopefully he'll be able to continue with freedom. But certainly the mood is very thunderous on the sideline as well as the pitch, Marty.
Indeed, thank you very much, Damien. I was just watching the Limerick bench, but let's have a look at the goal again from the Tipperary perspective, Michael.
Yeah, you just watch Jake Morrissey just coming in there, running in, and just the gap opened up in front of him. He's very good at that. He's great pace. He starts outside, sometimes comes in. We saw Larry Corbett doing that for a long time, and you just have to say, Marty, 17 minutes in, Tip really should be 6 or 7 points up. They've had 8 wides in that first 17 minutes to Limerick's 3. Some of them, by their standard, John O'Dwyer had a couple, Noel McGrath, a long range shot there from Seamus Kennedy. The discipline as well on the Tipperary side, very, very good. They've only conceded that first 3 which was the scored. So they're making Limerick work really, really hard for their scores. So you'd have to say Tipperary tactically very, very sharp. And I mentioned to you just before the game off air that I thought the Tip bench looked that bit stronger than Limerick's. So look, it's all to play for. You'll find great champions, they'll come to grips with this, but Jason Ford is the man. 5 points for play in the first 17 minutes of the Munster final. Phenomenal.
two All-Stars waiting to be called in. That's Aaron Gallan, number 21, and Dan Morrissey, number 26. And so far, this is the man that's very much on fire. 6 points. 4 of them, 5 of them actually from play. Just 1 from a free. It's interesting as well. I know, Michael, you mentioned about the influence of Eamon O'Shea, and I know Liam Sheedy took over the pep talk at the water break, but initially it was Eamon O'Shea. Tactically, very successful management in the past, of course, himself and Liam. Back to the action as Paddy Maher gets a little touch ahead of Seamus Flanagan, and that's going to be a sideline ball for Limerick. Seamus Flanagan doesn't normally take the sideline. That's going to do it this time himself. Quick ball in towards Cian Lynch. Under a bit of pressure. Dan McCormack. Tipperary battling hard, and they win that 50-50 ball. Declan Hannon just taking his eye off it, but he has the composure and experience to make the space for himself. Down for Seamus Flanagan, and that is looking straight and through, but wide of the target. That is Limerick's 4th wide of the match. Pulsating, entertaining contest here in Pâirc Uí Chaoimh. Long tuck out from Barry Hogan. Opportunity again, going for the goal! And what a goal! Incredible finish! What a finish by John O'Dwyer! Oh my word, it is work coming to Pâirc Uí Chaoimh.
And Marty, the same thing again, route 1, looking for the break, and in they came after. What a finish. And the conference, he missed a couple of chances, looking at for a finish, unsavable. And Tipperary going along with their puckouts, doing really, really well. It's a tactic obviously that's developed, and men coming in from behind. And look, I think Tipperary deserve that lead. They're playing all the hurling at the minute.
No doubt that the champions are struggling here now, conceding 2 goals, which doesn't normally happen. Nicky Quaid beaten by 2 Raspers. From where the ball landed, there's going to be a fray. Referee Todd Dwyer had no doubt. Cathal Barrett is saying that he was innocent. He was actually. It was from where the ball landed. That's hasn't quite understood what happened.
Yeah, well, look, there was a bit of talk during the week. Liam Sheedy was making the point that Cathal Barrett set referee different than other cornerbacks. He was obviously trying to get inside Todd Dwyer's head. The 2 of them were coming out for the ball there, and I think Barrett did seem to have a hold of Peter Casey. In any event, the free is awarded, and Tom Morrissey hit the post with a similar one at the start of the game, so he'd be looking just to tap this one out.
He's 25 years of age since the month of May. Under 21 All-Ireland medalist in 2015 and 17 when he was captain. That's Tom Morrissey. Limerick needed a score. It's his 3rd of the match. They just needed to settle because they're simply not used to conceding goals. But what spectacular, brilliant goals by Tipperary. First by Jake Morris after 3 minutes, and then John O'Dwyer just moments ago. Puck out from Barry Hogan, going long with most of these puck outs. Gathered superbly, and the finish is just a little bit off. Good effort again by John O'Dwyer. That's his 3rd time trying from there. He'll get it eventually.
I was going to say, Marty, he could have won train, but here's Hayes now in space.
Kyle Hayes straight from the puck out. That's a free, no question. A chance for Limerick again to get a little bit closer to their neighbours and opponents. As Kyle Hayes was fouled here, no question whatsoever, by Shane McCallum.
But you'd have to say, where John O'Dwyer on Dermot Burns creating loads, scored the goals, could have been a couple of points. Jake Morris, they're moving. You know, he has Barry Nash in all sorts of trouble. Declan Hannon in trouble. Kyle Hayes been kept relatively quiet by Michael Breen, and you can see they're targeting him every time he gets the ball. So Tipperary tactically working, and their work rate savage as well all over the field.
A little bit of concern about John O'Dwyer. The 21 All-Ireland medalist himself in 2010. John Kiley grabs the space and opportunity to talk to his fellow selectors. A little bit of concern on Shannon Sutters. The ball comes back off the post. Seamus Flanagan chasing after it again. Paddy Maher staying with him. Flanagan has to recycle it, bring it back outside. Good work here as Limerick try and create an opportunity for a point that is very well taken. Good score, Dermot Burns.
Yeah, the line really hit the post. Second free to hit the post, but a lovely ball back out there, Flanagan, and the pace there of Burns and power. And angled it over the bar.
Long took out again from Barry Hogan. Clearly, it's the strategy. Put pressure on the Limerick half-backs rather than going short. William O'Donoghue. Just the hands this time of Peter Casey slipped through his fingers. Tipperary out there in numbers. One of them is Brendan Maher and Boris O'Leary getting it into the centre. Coming across, getting a touch is big Michael Breen from Ballina, laying it off. As Tipperary again go for a long-range point, and this one is over the bar. It took a moment, but Seamus Kennedy will take the credit for a fine effort from way out the field.
Yeah, super work by Michael Breen there, showed his pace, just knocked it in and then had the composure to pick out Kennedy, and he was dead ready. He was only 50 yards out, he turned back and great score.
Limerick have the possession momentarily. Great tenacity by Tipperary again. Sweet ball from Ronan Marr. Good hands. Dead straight in front of the posts. And that will raise another white flag. And once again, it's John double Drugawa.
And Marty, he's been criticised maybe before for maybe his fitness levels. He's absolutely flying out there. Like he's putting on an exhibition. Jeremy Burns, one of the great wing backs, and he's causing them all sorts of trouble. And the Tipperary tactics at the back are brilliant. Everybody pushing up tight. Brendan Maher dropping in behind. Dan McCormick walking back there with them, and it's working brilliant at the minute for them.
Hard-working Graham Mulcahy's in there, manages to squeeze it first. Cian Lynch, he tries to give it back to Mulcahy. But look at the Tipperary defence. They're swarming all over them, chasing everything, coming away with it, surviving the challenge. Giving it just a little bit forward. Good work by Limerick, by Peter Casey in particular. But Tipperary have it once more, looking around. I love the way they have the composure to have that vision, putting it into the corners as Tipperary go for the difficult angles, but great defending this time by Limerick. Referee blows the whistle. Free to the Limerick band, which is very quickly taken. Comes down for William O'Donoghue. Williams sending it long over to Seamus Flanagan. Paddy now is underneath it, showing what a wonderful talent he is. And they doubted his fullback ability. All right. Great ball one. Over for Declan Hannon. I'll say it again. It's 26 degrees in Cork. And look at the speed and sheer determination of these two great hurling teams as the ball is sent in off the stick of this man, Tom Morrissey, who's getting his 4th point in the Munster final.
Yeah, and he's turf and play, and Limerick haven't been doing enough of that. That's what they do so well. Their half-back line break the tackle, they pick their half-forward line moving and they put it over. They have 5 from play from the half-forward line, but they're going long and they're not getting anywhere. Cathal Barrett, Paddy Maher and Barry Heffernan doing very, very well in the full-back line. That long ball not working.
Declan Hannon to Cian Lynch. Takes on the shoulder, steps away from the challenge. 1, 2, 3. Over for Gerard Hegarty. Hurler of the year in the past, hurler of the year last year, but the effort at the very end was disappointing. It had the potential for so much more.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't take it on. There was a couple of heavy hits on Cian Lynch, and he gave a lovely weighted pass over the top. And Hegarty just trying to tap it over the bar. It probably caught him 2 minds. He probably was thinking ahead now for the goals. And in hindsight's an easy thing to do from up here. Probably should have.
Short puck out this time for his Ronan Marr. Gives that ball again to Big Seamus Flanagan, knocked away by Richie English. Graham Mulcahy comes in search of the slipper. Up goes Big Seamus Flanagan. Ball breaks towards Paddy Maher. Sends it down towards Jason Ford. Dermot Burns, great anticipation, read the situation well. Giving it short for his Declan Hannon. Nice stick work. Giving it back again for his Darragh Donovan. Floating one in. Up comes Seamus Flanagan. Doesn't connect. No free, no foul. Referee is correct. Barry Hogan sends it over to the wing. But there's a man available waiting. That happens to be Noel McGrath. Gives a diagonal ball. That's the plan. Barry Nash intercepts. Looking around for the support. It's there. There's plenty. One of them happens to be Richie English. Gives the ball first. The Dune man, Darragh Donovan. To his midfield partner, William O'Donoghue. Thought about giving it back again. Look at the way Tipperary are tackling, chasing, harassing. Is there a score at the end of it all? I would say there is. And Jason Ford is now on 7 points. 6 of them from play, only 1 from a free.
Yeah, to me that's the most important score of the game so far. A huge passage of play in that. He drained and stuff, and Tipperary come up with the turnover, and Jason Ford over the bar. Here's Cian Lynch now. Is this one of the creep? That's wide as well.
Rather unusual for him to feel the pressure, feel the heat. go for a score when there's plenty of time to play it around. But Liam Sheedy certainly has orchestrated, from a strategic point of view, a very impressive performance. Can they maintain it right now? You have to look at them and say yes. Ball breaks off with English, and as a result, that is an easy enough point. It's kind of the first easy point that we've seen the Tipperary have got, and that's off Jake Morris, who, like John O'Dwyer, has now scored a goal and a point.
Yeah, and I don't know if the sun is a factor out there, because that's very unusual. Rich English missed that ball completely. And look at Tip attacking the ball again. Limerick waiting for it. It's not working.
Dan McCormack to John O'Dwyer. Is it sneaking inside the post? It's an absolute beauty. McCormack bubbles to this fantastic score in the glorious sunshine in Cork.
And the way he was drifting back there on his back foot and just had the skill to slice it in, he actually faded that in from left to right. And Dan McCormack again, look, he's picking up Cian Lynch there. It's working very well. Lynch has had his moments, but McCormack has got the grips.
Ball breaks down for us. Tom Morrissey. That one is well wide, but it possibly reflects the pressure that Limerick find themselves under at the moment.
100%, where the 3 Tipperary men in on there on the break, and that's the work rate is phenomenal, and the condition of the Tip players.
Here's an interesting statistic for you. Tipperary have scored 2 goals and 13 points, 2 goals and 12 from play. That's pretty impressive.
That's seriously impressive.
Building from the back this time. Little trip and Noel McGrath. Referee says play on, and he's waving the advantage. But the advantage wasn't accruing, so it's a free for Tipperary.
Yeah, I think Jason Ford will take his time coming out to this one, give everybody a little breather.
Time for Limerick to consult. And, Paul Kinnerk was there in picture a moment ago with John Kyle. But there's no doubt about it. We've seen Limerick over the last number of years. I don't think I've ever seen them in much trouble in the first half in the last 2 or 3 years.
Alberta, I'd say they're not playing that bad. It's just a brilliant performance by Tipperary. It's absolutely one of, they've done this over the last number of years. They've done it under Liam Sheedy and O'Shea on a number of occasions. But this is a fantastic team performance. Every single one of the Tipperary players are playing out of their skin.
Jason Ford, championship debutant against Kilkenny back in 2013. Spent his little bit of time on the Saubus gaining experience, but now he's a top-class player. And he's now, in this Munster final, on 8 points. 6 from play, 2 from frees.
And his confidence, he just doesn't look like he's going to miss anything. He went out to that, I don't know, the diagonal, 95 yards out, and he put it 30 yards over the bar. It's just a phenomenal strike. He's having one of those days that you dream of.
Rich English seems to have a bit of a problem here. His head is nodding there, that doesn't seem good. He's fullback under 21 All-Ireland medalist back in 2015. Aaron Gillan is going to be introduced as Limerick make the changes, but he's definitely still coming on. And Graham Mulcahy is the player that's going to make way for him.
And I think it's kind of ironic. I don't think I've ever seen Limerick playing as much ball into the full forward line.
And there's a welcome for Aaron Gillan from Barry Heffernan, basically saying hello, this is the Munster final, and we're ready for you.
We'd expect that, but I'm just saying, I never saw, the amount of ball that's gone in there, and Gillan would thrive on that with the great hand that he has. There's Rich English gone. I'm hoping it's not anything to do with his bad knee injury that he had with the crucials. But he's certainly gone. And Dan Morrissey, what a sub to have. 2 All-Stars in 30 seconds.
Dan Morrissey in a full-back, Aaron Gillan into the full forward line. That comes after 31 minutes, which is a clear indication the Limerick management also feel that changes are necessary. Here comes a nice combination, possible score. But Cian Lynch unselfishly gave it to Seamus Flanagan. Tipperary there in numbers, good defending. As Limerick try and put the pressure on here. William McDonough's in there, and but Tipperary come away with it. Still shoulder to shoulder. Ends up with Jake Morris just outside his own 45-metre line. Puts it into the space. It's an easy ball for substitute Dan Morrissey to gather. In fouls Declan Hannon. Fouls the other Morrissey from Ahad. Tom Morrissey dropping this in. Barry Hogan had to keep his eye on it. But the ball is in the net. But the referee has blown his whistle for Seamus Flanagan being inside the small rectangle. He blew his whistle immediately. Let's look and see exactly what happened.
It's inconclusive there. I don't know, was he inside? He's on the move in, but at the very started, I'm not 100% sure. He was moving in. The initial reaction was he wasn't inside, he was coming in after the ball. Big call.
Big call by the referee, and he blew it immediately, but meanwhile it's back to Barry Nash. Back to Nash again from Tom Morrissey. Now Limerick need this man, Aaron Gillard. Can he try for a goal from there? He's satisfied to take his point, and already he's made an impact.
And I think some of that is psychological. You're Barry Heffernan, you're now marking Aaron Gillard. He didn't attack that ball maybe the way he's been attacking the others. He was afraid of getting slipped, and that's what Gillard can do. It's a big Tipperary lead, but we've seen in hurling before. 9 points can turn around very, very quickly.
First goal for Limerick in 8 minutes as the Road Hegarty comes in on that 50-50 ball, picked up by Cian Lynch, laying it into the corner towards Peter Casey. Peter Casey having to work hard for it. Ball is back. There's a foul clearly on the Limerick man as well by Noel McGrath. Referee says nothing, didn't indicate. Back to Noel McGrath. Can't put him out over the sideline, can't get near him. Ball into the centre towards Dan McCormack. Goes for distance again, the long ball. Just getting a little touch with Dan Morrissey, and that is a 65 for Tipperary.
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely a foul in Limerick. I think the ball was kicked off the ground as well. I think Limerick aggrieved with that. This will be a 2-point swing, or possibly 2-point swing, because Limerick were on the attack.
So on 2 occasions, I would have said that sequence of play Limerick deserved it.
Correct.
Interesting enough as well that Paul Barrett has taken up responsibility in marking Aaron Gillard. There's a switch there between himself and Barry Heffernan. Meanwhile, it's Jason Ford. Man on fire. 8 points so far in this Munster final to increase the Premier County's lead. Hits it well, with conviction, confidence and accuracy. He's on 9.
Straight down the tunnel and was straight behind in the middle of the goals and had him marked down before he even took it. He's just striking the ball somewhere.
Ball is tucked out quickly by Mickey Quaid. Great work by Limerick to regain the possession. Over his shoulder. He's a bit optimistic, but the umpire has no doubt. And Road Hegarty disappointed, pleading with the referee. Anybody really thought it was going over the bar in Pâirc Uí Chaoimh.
And it was
2 minutes.
It was the wrong option, Marty. Seamus Flanagan was on his own, and he saw him. He just chose to ignore him, to turn it over the bar himself, and that's what happens when you're rattled. You know, the lack of oxygen out there, the heat. They're 9 points down, 10 points down. So wrong call again.
Barry Nash bursting forward, looking for a little bit of help and support. The referee giving the free. Infringement just moments earlier. As we're now into injury time, 2 minutes to be added on. And Tipperary leading 2-15 to 11 points. And a very impressive performance by the challengers from the Premier County. Effort from the Limerick 45. Is a good one. And the white flag will be raised thanks to Diarmaid Burns' free.
Great strike. It's almost routine now for these lads, but that's all 45 and flew over the bar. Great score.
And once upon a time we were amazed when those things happen, but there's normal service now. Barry Hogan again. Going for that long puck out, putting Limerick under pressure right from the off. Ball breaks down for Darragh Donovan. Can Limerick get another score before the break? Ball was half blocked. Noel McGrath, quick hands, a little bit too quick. Not even John O'Dwyer completes that one. Liam Sheedy managing this Tipperary team and very pleased. In contrast, John Kiley, I think, will be happy to get his team into the dressing room to have a rethink. Barry Nash going to take the sideline cut. It's a good one into the centre, but again, Tipperary are attacking right for the front. There's a touch on there by Seamus Flanagan, but it's a chap down. Tony Marr is not a man that goes down easily. He's getting a pat in the back and saying well done, because it was a 50-50 ball. This was an incident. Great play by Tony Marr. He's having a great old tussle with James Flanagan, who I know has scored twice. But there's at least 4 or 5 balls that Tony Marr has won handsomely.
Tony Marr has been brilliant. I think that was a free was given way after Tony Marr. The whole came in was a complete accident, and maybe to give him a little flick, but I think that was the experience that Tony Marr showed there. Won that free.
Jason Ford is now heading towards double figures. This could be his 10th point in the match as we approach half-time. Never in any doubt. It's been an awesome performance by Jason Ford. A brilliant performance by Tipperary. And the Tipperary supporters, who love their hurling, give their team a warm round of applause. We've had 2 spectacular goals by Jake Morrissey in the 3rd minute, John Bubbles O'Dwyer in the 19th. Liam Sheedy, look at him, look at the intensity. It's as if he's hitting every ball, picking up every slither. He's giving his team a round of applause. That's management, that's intensity, that's pressure. And that is a man that is also on fire. Liam Sheedy and Tipperary. John Kiley will have to rethink his strategy with his management team for the second half. We're having a thriller on the banks of the River Lane. It's Limerick 12 points, Tipperary 2 goals and 16 at half-time. Goalkeeper in 1992. But meanwhile, back now, it's going to be interesting to see what Limerick can do in this second half. As Paul Dwyer from Carlow, referee to the previous Munster final in 2019, restarts the match as the ball is dropped in. Good understanding between goalkeeper and defender means Barry Hogan can come away with it without any great degree of pressure. Can they maintain the intensity and the speed that we saw in the first half? Has gone across to gather this is Declan Hannon, giving a little flick as they try to build from the back. Pass to Barry Nash was poor, to say the least, but well recovered. Kyle Hayes made a few good penetrating runs in the first half, but his main job was defending in the second period of the first half, if you know what I mean. The ball comes down to Aaron Gillard. His battle is pundits were saying with Turan is going to be an interesting 35 minutes, and Cathal Barrett seemed to go down there as he tussled with Aaron Gillard, and certainly seems to be in pain. And the Tipperary players didn't like the challenge. Todd O'Dwyer is going across to have a word with his linesman to get further information. Gerard Hegarty is clearly letting his feelings be known. That's Cathal McAllister from here in Cork, who's top-class referee as well, acting as linesman this afternoon. And Todd O'Dwyer has the book out, but let's see what's going to happen here. He's definitely going to have a word with Aaron Gillard.
Yeah, he was struggling to win the free, Marty, trying to get away, and at the last, when the free was given, he swung back to hurling, hitting Cathal Barrett. Depends what the linesman told the ref. We haven't seen a replay of it yet here, but he's certainly going to take his down. Could be a red.
What colour is the card? Looks like it's going to be yellow. Yellow card for Aaron Gillard at the start of this second half, which is never a good way, because immediately you're under a little bit of pressure.
It's found there, watch this, and he's swung back. That's a red card, in my view, all day long.
Aaron Gillard and Todd Dwyer having further conversation. Brendan Maher tussling with Peter Casey. So in your view, Michael, Aaron Gillard looking to be still on.
Sure good.
Meanwhile, Tipperary win themselves a free. They are so determined.
He won the free, Martin, fair enough, and he was pulled back, but you can see after the free is given and Cathal Barrett's going to stop, he swung back to her. So the rule is striking or attempting to strike, red card. And once he gets the yellow, I can't see how he can get red.
Barry Hogan, meanwhile, takes the free. Dropping picking it up as Seamus Cannon comes in. Ball hops kind of with a Tipperary on, but it's going to dribble over the end line and wide. There was a real opportunity there for Jake Morris.
I mentioned the sun in the first half. It definitely caught Sean Finn there. He couldn't see the ball. He missed it in the air, and Jake Morris had a chance there to stick on the net.
Barry Nash down towards Cian Lynch. Marking is very tight. Slidler no space. It's bringing Mar. Sends it up in towards the Limerick 45-metre line. Darragh O'Donovan and Dan Morrissey just a little bit hesitant to say the least in their delivery. Cian Lynch has lost his hurling. Todd Dwyer, I think Cian Lynch decided that was going to be a free with what Todd Dwyer did.
Yeah, I think it was a free, to be fair. I think Limerick, just see that Darren in again there, that's fair. He was trying to hold him up. He's effective in playing the ball. He was felt in the first half, Limerick could have got a couple more frees. You know, I think that worked that bit harder for the frees. Not having no bearing on the game because Tipperary was so impressive. But certainly Limerick supporters weren't happy at half time.
Deireadh Burns has scored 2 points in the first half. One from a free and one from Clare. Adds to his collection and starts to reduce down Tipperary's lead. Take out from Barry Hogan. Cody Maher is making himself available, but Barry decides to go long again. Seamus Cannon comes out to gather it, just leaves it behind him. Darragh O'Donovan. Again, great marking by Tipperary. Seamus Cannon recovered, kept chasing and harassing, putting Limerick under pressure. Comes out for his Tom Morrissey, and that sails between the posts. Point Iveraguig for Tom Morrissey, and his fourth from play.
Yeah, that's more like it from Limerick. That's what they like to do. A couple of short passes over the middle. Morrissey moved off. Will O'Donoghue spotted a lovely ball out to him and over the bar. That's the way they like to work it. They have an extra man at the back there now. They're starting to work that ball down.
Pick out is again a long one. Seamus Cannon almost was through it. Good defending by Limerick. William O'Donoghue. Hand pass well controlled by Garrod Hegarty. Good wrist work. Has the vision to see who was running outside. It's Deireadh Burns. Cuts inside. And away goes Burns. Being pursued by Seamus Kennedy and Noel McGrath. Into the centre towards Cian Lynch. High challenge. And when Limerick start running at the Tipperary defence, it causes trouble with a capital T.
And that's the way they normally play. Work the ball through the lines. You can see that's going to be a yellow card, no doubt about that. But you know, Tipperary to keep up that pace from the first half was always going to be hard. And Limerick are great champions. They're not going to go down without a fight. So they're set up now for a mighty second half. It should be down to 8 points now after this. 7.
It was 10 at the break. Aaron Galland stands over this with his first free of the day since being introduced for Graham Mulcahy towards the end of the first half. Warm round of applause indicates that has reached its target. Limerick in the second half have already notched up 3 points. Tipperary yet to score. 7 points between the teams. Good ball into the centre. Good catch by Brendan Maher. But now Limerick are doing what Tipperary did in the first half. Chasing and harassing. Still Brendan down on his knees trying to put in the challenge. Good work by Tom Morrissey to Garrod Hegarty. Here's a chance. Here's a shot. Oh! It rebounds. Back in the net. Seamus Flanagan from Fiona Castlemark scores a goal like what he did against Tipperary in the championship last year in the wind and rain. He does it in the glorious sunshine. Same venue, same place. Cracking goal.
What a save from Barry Hogan first, but Seamus Flanagan, like all great forwards, following up, flicks it into the net, down to 4 points. It's just what I suppose Limerick have dominated since half time. They've got the grips with Tipperary's tactics. Paul Clerk obviously busy at half time, and it's all Limerick since the half time break. 1-3 to no score since they came back out.
4 points between the teams. It was only 8 minutes ago? Tipperary need to find their mojo again, find their rhythm. If that ball is sent in under pressure off the stick of Dan McCormack. Ball is wide. I wonder what he's thinking right now. Dan Morrissey. Barry Nash. He's already thinking what he was going to do with the ball once he got it. Gives it over towards Sean Finn. Long ball up towards Seamus Flanagan and Aaron Gillane. Tipperary win the possession. Free, at least it should be, for Tipperary.
Yeah, much more urgency about Limerick. You can see them pressing up, probably overplayed that one. Here's Hegarty coming in with the trip, and definitely a free, but Tipperary after been stunned, I think, by that opening from Limerick in the second half. Jason Ford coming back a long way to take this one. No huge change in any of the matchups or anything like that, but just Limerick have just started way more urgency, and the biggest thing is they're not playing that long ball in, they're playing the ball the way they're comfortable playing it through the length.
Just looking at the replay of the goal, that was some save by Barry Hogan just previous. As the free is dropped in, ball is wide, which means that Tipperary now have 12 wides.
Sorry, that save, it was brilliant. You see the way he angled her, the ball would have flown out the field, but Flanagan was following through and stuck it in the net.
Cian Lynch lays it off first. Kyle Hayes. Great hook by Michael Green. Stayed with him. Referee has given a free, and it's going to Limerick. Created by the determination of one Kyle Hayes.
Yeah, and a couple of things to look out for there. First of all, the little flick pass from Cian Lynch, but then Kyle Hayes. He's not used to somebody staying with him. Michael Green had the taste to stay with him. He was so surprised he was hooked, but he had the power to win it back, and he was held up by the two arms and fouled. And a tough free in the sideline here for Gillane, but obviously hugely important again. I expect him to knock it over.
Patrick Swellman, Aaron Gillane. Difficult angle, and there wasn't a problem for him at all. Presence on the field is certainly making an impact.
You're 100% Marty, massively. I think whatever was going on, he wasn't taking maybe lack of form, but he got a kick up the backside and it's working. He is full of life since he came in.
Long ball as Tipperary have yet to score in the second half. He's not about to change. The white flag is raised. And Tipperary happy enough with that score. And Jake Morris, they need it.
That sun is a huge factor now in the Limerick defenders' eyes. Nobody knew where that ball was, and Morris picked it up and tapped it over.
Great catch. Cian Lynch trying to get away from Dan McCormack, and Dan McCormack is fouling. And Limerick are doing the chest pumps, the high fives. They're highly motivated in the second half. Tipperary will have to produce the same level and intensity as they did in the opening 35 minutes.
I think they're under serious pressure. Cian Lynch now is dominating Dan McCormack, and he's on a yellow. Dan McCormack, that's another foul. He's one foul away from being off, so Tipperary are going to have to make the decisive move there, I think, and get Dan McCormack off Cian Lynch, because Lynch is really thundering into the game.
4 points between the teams right now as Aaron Gillane bends, lifts and strikes in one sweeping moment, and that is over the bar for his fourth. 3-point game again. 2-17, 1-17. 11 minutes into the second half. The Ireland champions have taken on the challenge. They're showing a bit of character in this second half. And they're certainly upsetting the Tipperary boys as passes goes astray. Cian Lynch laying it off to William O'Donoghue. As Limerick bear down on goal as Big Garrod Hegarty trying to pull the trigger. Great defending by Tipperary. Garrod Hegarty has gone down, and Tipperary come away with it. Going across is Jason Ford. Sean Finn should have the situation under control. Flicks it over towards Kyle Hayes. Acres of Pâirc Uí Chaoimh in front of him. Decides to use the slither and put it into the space. Aaron Gillane would do very well to reach that. Just hit it a little bit too far for them.
There's too much on it. I don't know how they're doing it. They're keeping up the pace of the game. What a block by Kyle Barrett there on Garrod Hegarty. The bravery he came across. Not a super stop. But the thing is breaking down now for tip on the puck out. Tom Morrissey should be over the bar.
That's exactly what he's done. It's his 6th point in the match. And the All-Ireland and Munster champions have come to life in the second half. 10 points, the difference at the break. It's now down to 2. 12 minutes into the second period.
And they've ticked off the last 2 Tipperary puckouts. Keane Lynch the previous one. Tom Morrissey with 5 from play. Anything Jason Ford can do, Tom Morrissey can do in the second half.
Beautifully won by Jamie Callan. Coming across is Barry Nash. Never took his eye off the ball. Good catch. Lays it off. Ball into the space from Darragh Donovan. Aaron Gallagher. Dropping it. And it's over the crossbar. Aaron Gallagher with his 5th point of the game. He was only introduced a few minutes before the break. And he has certainly made his presence felt.
Well, look, his ability in the air, we all know about it, but look at that, just enough on it to drop it over the bar. He's been brilliant. Limerick are showing out where, look, this is the performance we saw in Croke Park last December in the Ireland final. They're back to their best there in the second half.
Limerick have scored a goal and 7 points. One goal and 7 points in the second half. Tipperary responded with just 1. That statistic alone will give you the difference between the two teams in this second period. Keane Lynch pops it up for his Kyle Hayes. That seemed to hit Seamus Kennedy on the side of the face, and I hope he's all right. Seems to be. To his great credit. And that is a sideline ball. That's the great advantage of wearing helmets in this game. Sideline ball. Not too sure what Peter Dwyer is. He wants to take it again as Seamus Kennedy, rightly, absolutely, deserves the medical attention that he deserves. Just get the slither on the side of the face and just making sure he's able to continue on. Made his debut against the Cork was actually 5 years ago. Great footballer, as I mentioned, as well with the Nationals, Princess hurling at St Mary's. Really, really good player. Checking that he's okay.
Rightly so. Look, the face guards obviously doing their job. We've seen many players over here getting those belts and be off. Maybe a bad injury, so good to see Shane looks okay. Now the subs are going to be the big thing now. Always are. There's the ball straight into the side of the head. Luckily he's okay, but the subs on the last 20 is going to be huge in this game. Tipperary have a lot of potential on the bench. They're going to have to prove it now when they come on.
Darragh Donovan giving it short pass. William O'Donoghue. Beautifully robbed by Garrod Hegarty. He was on the stick momentarily on the boss of John McCormack's hurling. The referee spotted an infringement and he's giving a free to Limerick.
It's just that work rate, that tenacity, that, it was there in the first half, and Tipperary were just savage, but Limerick had another gear, and they were probably disappointed at half time, but they've gone up that gear. They're winning those threes that they weren't winning in the first half now, simply because they're swarming over the ball and they're putting in massive effort in the second half.
1 point between the teams. They've only been level once before. This is going to be the first time actually they're going to be level if this goes over the bar. 119-217. This to level the match for the very first time. Aaron Gallagher sends the slipper high and between those white posts down at the city end. A 10-point lead by Tipperary has been broken down in 16 minutes, which is impressive considering the awesome display that we saw from Tipperary in the opening half.
Yeah, look, Keane Lynch got the left half over the second half. Dan McCormack totally out of position on the right half position here now. Hegarty in the centre. All their moves are working. They're half backline power into the game, and they've just taken over.
Comes out for his Tom Morrissey into the centre towards William O'Donoghue. Farrah Seamus Flanagan. He's a fine hurler. He's a great target man, but he can score as well.
And Will O'Donoghue, Marty, himself and Darragh Donovan, their work rate, and that kind of broke onto him, but straight away, and they weren't doing that in the first half. They took 3 or 4 shots that weren't on, but they're giving the right ball all the time now.
Ball breaks down towards Kyle Hayes. Tipperary rattled at the start of the second half, and they need a little bit of leadership now and control. Keane Lynch Sweeps in, had Slipper momentarily. Sean Flynn pumps it into the space. Peter Casey. Lovely hurling. It really is. Now that is a classy point by a cheeky forward with an array of hurling skills. First the pick up, then the wrist work, then the balance, the shot, and Limerick add on another point. From 10 points down at half-time, Limerick people can cheer as they see the All-Ireland champions and Munster champions respond to the greatest challenge so far. 10 points down at the break, at the water break, and lead by 2.
Marty, incredible. Look, we gave Tip all the credit they deserved in the first half, but what can we say about Limerick since the restart? They've got their tactics so much right. They've been absolutely phenomenal. 110 to a point since the start of the second half. It's fantastic.
It's an interesting second half. Let's go straight down to the sideline for a man who's watching up close and personal. That's our Damien Lawler.
Yes, Marty, at half-time the Tipperary players were greeted by huge applause from the whole management team. This time around, it's the Limerick sideline team that have come out to applaud their team for a remarkable turnaround from the break. Just before half-time, John Carly was screaming at his players, screaming, run at them. And in fairness to Limerick in the second half, that's exactly what they've done. And as you say, Marty, they've gone from 10 down to being 2 up. Tipperary are not pressing the panic button just yet. They've just introduced Willie Connors. Their management team of Eamon O'Shea, Darragh Egan and Lee Sheedy have just had a confab here in front of us, and they're about to bring in Paddy the Cadell as well. So all to do as we hand back to you, Marty.
Just in case you've just turned on your television, I'll just give you a quick recap. At half-time, Tipperary, the scoreline was Tipperary 2-16, Limerick 12 points. But then Limerick have responded and they got this goal after a brilliant save from Barry Hogan. Aaron Gillan took a rasper of a shot. This came after 42 minutes and it was a fantastic save by the keeper. As Aaron Gillan was calling for it, here comes the shot. Hogan, brilliant save, but look who was waiting for it. Seamus Flanagan.
Yeah, look, it's back down to doing what they do so well. They're going short, then they're going long on occasion. In the first half they were going long a lot, they weren't getting much, but maybe again, look, they're so fit, they're still a young team, a relatively young team, very, very fit, very mobile, and look, great mental strength to come out in the second half, being 10 points down at half time. We've seen that a lot in hurling over the years. Like, I think I said it with you, Marty, a few years ago, 9 points a day to lead in hurling. We're seeing it again today.
Short little puck out, then goes long. And Limerick taking control in the second half. And Kyle Hayes now beginning to see acres of Pâirc Uí Chaoimh, and away he goes. He started in his own half, hopping the slipper twice in the hurling, taking a shot. Oh my word! A fantastic goal! Goal of the year! And it's only July! That was just incredible! Started with Cian Lynch, popping it up to Hayes. Off he went on his motorbike. He couldn't be stopped, and watch the finish. Unstoppable. Fantastic.
Marty, if you look at his hurl, he's turned the wrong way around as well. What a goal. I don't think I've ever seen a goal like that. That is Kyle Hayes. That is what he can do. I don't think there's any other hurler I've ever seen that could do that. Get a ball that far out. He was going to be hooked. He sliced through the middle. That's an unbelievable finish by an absolutely savage hurler.
5 points in front now, Limerick. And Kyle Hayes, who made 1 or 2 of those surging runs in the first half. But that was just an unbelievable cameo to get the ball inside his own 45 from Cian Lynch and took off.
Yeah, Marty, to think that he only went back, wing back. Yellow there from Flanagan. He only went back, wing back when Dan Morrissey got injured last year. And the difference has made to Limerick's play. Dan Morrissey went back at the full-back. Mike Casey was out, and Richie English was out last year injured, and then they switched the team around. And when Dan went out a wing back, he went back. But he brings that. Look, we saw it against Cork the last day. We saw it last year in the All-Ireland final, Martin. Remember that run up the field? I said that day it could have been the best goal I ever saw in Croke Park. But he's done it there now. That is a goal for the ages. There's no doubt about it.
Watch this. Hopping the slither on the ground and then using the short grip powerfully to beat a fine goalkeeper and Barry Hogan. This was just magic from Kyle Hayes.
I thought in real time it was actually the boss of his hurl that turned around, so he actually hit it with the boss of the hurl upside down as well. It's still got huge power. What a goal.
Tipperary are making the changes. Niall O'Mara is in. This is Mark Keogh that we're looking at, and Niall O'Mara as well. And also number 18 is Paddy Cadell. changes are now being made by Liam Sheedy. It's an emotional roller coaster ride for Liam Sheedy, because when you think of that moment when he was applauding his team going in, they looked in control, and this second half performance by the champions was just so impressive. And they're getting no change whatsoever out of the Limerick defence in this second half. 4 or 5 hand passes to get them out of trouble. Here comes the fifth as Darragh Donovan is back there. Goes long as Tipperary should have that situation under control. As Aaron Gillan is up there more or less on his own. Paul Barrett's playing it across towards Pâirc Uí Chaoimh. Can Tipperary resurrect their chances? Seamus Kennedy dropping it in. Great work by Dan Morrissey. What a substitute to have when you lose Richie English. All-star full-back 2020. Peter Casey. He was almost in slow motion, but the magic was just there. We're just waiting for it to happen. Wasn't that just a thing of beauty?
It's beautiful, but look where it came from. Dan Morrissey looking up, picking out Will O'Callaghan for a full-back to be able to do that with a 50-yard pass straight into his hand. He lobbed a little ball over the top to Casey making the move, and that's just a lovely score again. See the attack on the ball again now.
Tipperary haven't scored in the last 12 minutes. Pass is going astray, but still working out all right. They pump the ball in high, hoping maybe for a score from way out, and that's a fine effort, good effort indeed. That is badly needed by Tipperary. Full credit to Willie Connors.
Yeah, Willie Connors has been around the squad. Probably like to be starting. He's been around for a few years now. That's a good score. Tipperary badly needed. That's only their second point in the second half. I don't think I've ever seen such a turnaround for a team that was so dominant for 2-16 in the first half to just score 2 points in the first 22 minutes of the second half.
Transformation, both dressing rooms, is just hard to comprehend. And certainly, I'm not too sure what Liam Sheedy can do now, because his team has given him everything. But certainly, he's thrown in substitutes now to try and rearrange. He's Matt Shirkin is Brian McGrath from Lockmore Castleline, the youngest of the McGrath brothers. He's now introduced as well. That's going off is Barry Heffernan. Changes in the Tipperary half-back line.
And that sums it up. Barry Heffernan, super first half. Peter Casey has given him a bit of a run around the second, and that's just been the pattern of the match.
Tipperary go in pursuit of more scores. This ball is dropping to the right and wide. Ford has hardly got a touch of the ball, considering his magnificent performance in the first half with 10 points. There's no criticism of Jason, it's just the way the game has changed around. And I still have to think that Limerick were a little bit fortunate to still have 14 players, or 15 players on the field, considering what Aaron Gillan was lucky to get away with. As Tipperary, from a very difficult angle, again send the ball wide. 14 wides for Tipperary.
Yeah, that's Marty. I was going to say there a second ago to you. Dan Morrissey and Aaron Gillan came on at the same time before half time. The difference that both of them made. Dan Morrissey has been rock solid. They started to change their style, but I'd agree with you. Aaron Gillan went off. This is a completely different game. You know, the lads will talk about more tonight, but to me it was a straight red card all day long. And Aaron Gillan's been hugely influential for Limerick in the second half.
Ball into the centre. Jason Ford stopped in his tracks on this occasion as much as he could by William O'Donoghue. Barry Nash attacked the slipper, but just bypassed him slightly. There's a chance here trying to get the ball anywhere near the goals. And Limerick are all over this again, and the referee, Paul O'Dwyer, is indicating he's going to give a throw ball on the 20-metre line. Burns slowly getting to his feet. Tipperary have the possession back, not for very long. As the ball is sent back out again, and that one is dropping just to the wrong side of the post again.
The pressure on the ball, you saw Tip in the first half, had so much time. Their tactics, their movement had Limerick all over the place, and they just, to give credit to the back row team again, they assessed it at half time, they made the necessary switches, they dropped Declan Hannon back a little bit deeper, and they started working that ball out through their two midfielders, and you see Tom Morrissey especially go away.
This was the Aaron Gillane incident too.
That's a straight red card, there is no doubt about that, and that's the turning point of the game. From that point of view, if he wasn't on what would have happened, Limerick hurled so well anyway, but that's a red card.
And his influence has been huge since.
Yeah, and look, without him up there, his movement, his accuracy, his freeze, everything, you don't know what would have happened. But that's we don't like saying it, but that's what it is. The play had stopped. It was crazy what he did there, and got away with it. And that's it. It's history now. And they're looking very, very comfortable. Still 10 minutes to go, but they're still Tipperary look to be out of ideas.
Tipperary scored 2 goals, 16 points in the first half, just 2 in the second period so far. The road Hegarty sends this in, and it's tailing to the right and left.
Yeah, huge piece of skill there again by Hegarty. Flicked it up, the shot wasn't really on, and went for it. It was a mistake.
Oh, Seamus Flanagan bearing down on goal, going for it, and Barry Hogan deflects it, stood his ground well. I've been very impressed with this goalkeeper, I have to say, not just today, but since he got his place when Brian Hogan got injured. Barry Hogan has been absolutely outstanding in the Alliance League and deservedly gets his place in the championship.
Brian Hogan, an all-star goalkeeper, a brilliant keeper, and to go in, you just see the way he stood up there, as I said, Marty, so brave, so alert, the save he made earlier on, and maybe Flanagan should have tapped it over, but maybe the land will. Dermot Burns actually is coming up to David.
Paul Kinnerk with the cap on there. Alan Cunningham and John Kiley is Limerick obviously going to make more changes. Dermot Burns meanwhile will take this 65. He's already scored 3 times in this Munster final, 2 of them for frees. First 65 for Dermot Burns. He's a successful voyage. Increases the Munster champions and All-Ireland champions lead.
They just don't look like missing now. We talked about them at half-time, hitting wides and they're out of the game. It's just the confidence is just amazing, and the transformation.
All batted down. Tipperary have the possession once more. Good work by centre-half forward Marty Green. Finish a disappointment once again.
That's 2 or 3 easy chances Marty Tipperary after missing there. Knock over those couple of chances, they're right in this game. It's really as if they've ran out of ideas, that they've been just gobsmacked or they're bamboozled by what Limerick have put on, the exhibition Limerick have put on.
David Reedy just came on the field for Darragh Donovan, gets his first touch, feeds Cian Lynch onto Garrod Hegarty. David Reedy had continued on with a run into space, but Garrod Hegarty sends this over his left shoulder. That's a brilliant point. Great score by last year's hurler of the year. Beginning to find that form again. At exactly the right time.
It's all true, Lynch. What a leap, man. What a hurler.
Garrod Hegarty's second point of the match. Into the centre towards Ronan Maher. That's looking good. And Ronan Maher has scored a point against Clare in the semi-final. Gets his point in the Munster final. 6 points between the teams. Barry Nash in towards Tom Morrissey. Had enough guile and stickwork to be able to lay it off towards David Reedy, and David Reedy puts it between the posts. From a little club called Drumanalaka, had a bit of time playing hurling with Kildare, and transferred back to his native county again. He played very well in the league actually. I'm sure that John Kiley was very pleased with him. Thus he's getting a run in this Munster final. Tipperary trying to engineer something. Robbie Hanley was involved there, giving it back, and that's a fine effort for Michael Bray. Scored a goal and a point against Clare. A point in the Munster final. Conor Boylan is being introduced by John Kiley. And the player that's going off is Tom Morrissey, and scored 6 points in the final. Peter Casey chasing this, good defending however. Tipperary, pressure is not gone by any means, and Casey has it once more. Back out for Oscar Road Hegarty. Floating it inside the post. Classic.
Marty, look where he is. Like he was out in the right half forward position there 30 seconds ago. He's travelled across the field in a hot day like today, a couple of minutes to go, and that sort of movement, the teamwork again, Casey with a lovely little underarm pass.
Tipperary with the possession. Jason Ford wanted to lay it off quickly, but again Kyle Hayes put in the pressure. Jason Ford from way out, showing leadership again, and gets his first point in the second half to make it a personal tally of 11. Tipperary now have 2:21, 2:27. 3 minutes to go. Limerick introduced Pat Ryan. In the second half, Limerick have accumulated 2 goals and 15 points to Tipperary's 5 points. Figures tell the story, really. It's an amazing transformation. Declan Hannon, back for his Keane Lynch. Good work by Jake Morris. Making an angle for himself, but he fouled the possession by holding it too many times. Free to Limerick.
Yeah, he done all the hard work, caught it 3 times. I mentioned the substitutions there. Tom Morrissey, Seamus Flanagan got off. What games the two of them had? 1-3 from Flanagan, 5 points from play, and a free from Morrissey. And just really, particularly Morrissey when they weren't going well, and Flanagan never stopped working, kept them in the game. And that's the leaders that this team did. Lynch has been awesome as well, but those two lads really put the shoulder for the game was scored against them.
Robbie Hanley going to be introduced. Six points between the teams. Keane Lynch is fine, is able to continue on.
52-11. Next one.
So the free are going to be taken by Dermot Burns. Captain of the under-21 team that won the All-Ireland in 2015. Unusual for him, since that red and white. The sunshine might have been a factor there. As Limerick introduce Robbie Hanley. The player that's going off is Keane Lynch, to a warm standing ovation that people for Limerick fans who are here at this upper level in the stand here in Pâirc Uí Chaoimh.
Pure style is matter. What a hurler, what a work rate, what an athlete. There's no fault in that man's game. It's just everything he gives for that jersey.
I'm ready when you are.
4 added minutes in this Munster final. Passing going astray, but Tipperary recover. Robbie Hanley was putting in a challenge. It's going to be a free for Tipperary.
There's still a few minutes to go. For Limerick, 33, 4, 5 and 6, they won 4 in a row. They haven't won 3 in a row since. This is huge for them, for this team to make their own history.
Great work by William O'Donoghue. Having lost the possession, his perseverance, and you can see just picked up an injury there, still crouched on his knees off camera. This is Pat Ryan getting away from Tipperary defence. He has the support, Conor Boylan, and this man, Peter Casey, and that's the result. Peter Casey with his third point of the game.
Yeah, look at just again these lads, Pat Ryan, the pace to bring them off the bench, you know, and lads are wrecked out there, and he's just straight down the middle, good vision, throw it outside, simple score.
Robbie Hanley trying to get away, make a little bit of space, trying to get away from Niall O'Mara. Aaron Gillan. Tipperary have the situation under control. Good work by Kyle Barrett. Jason Ford waiting for it. Owen Connolly gathered, sending it into territory there that's fairly crowded at the moment. Jake Morris sending it across. There's a chance here. Here comes the show. Wonderful. What a fantastic goal. Beautifully struck out by Mark Hill.
That's a great ball by Jake Morris. Brilliant first touch by Keogh. What a finish to the roof of the net. Still a couple of minutes to go here, Marty. Could have another twist in the tail. Who knows?
Absolutely brilliant goal. It's not every day of the week, but Nicky Quaid is beaten 3 times. And he scored 228. He scored 321, I should say, and still possibly not win. 2 minutes to go in extra time. Limerick in front by 4. Diarmaid Burks inside, just inside his own 45. There's a goal. That is off target for the 12th wide of the match from Liam Sheedy. It's been an emotional roller coaster, really, to be honest with you. Drops down. Oh, here's an opportunity perhaps, and Tipperary not giving up. Ball into the centre, gathered by Dan Morrissey. And Limerick play themselves out of trouble. David Reedy gets a touch. Goes long. Down first, Peter Casey. Saw the challenge coming in. Gets inside Ronan Marr. Still Peter Casey. Difficult enough angle. He flicks it between the posts from an acute angle and over the crossbar. Clever play. He really is a little magician when he's on fire, and he's displaying his bag of magical tricks here this afternoon. 4 points Peter Casey has scored in this Munster final. Robbie Hanley is getting on a lot of balls since he's introduced from Kilmarnock. Sideline ball, Tipperary. We're hitting the 74th minute. And Limerick are about to be crowned Munster champions for the 3rd year in a row. Barry Nash. Coolness personified is fouled. Getting to the ball, and the referee, Paul Dwyer, blows the full-time whistle. Limerick have achieved something that the county hasn't done in 85 years. Win 3 Munster titles back-to-back. They trailed by 10 points at half-time, 2-16 to 12 points. But whatever happened in that Limerick dressing room at half-time, it will be interesting. Alan Cunningham, Paul Kinnerk, Mike Kiley and John Kiley thought out a plan, renewed the energy, because Tipperary were simply brilliant in the first half, scoring 2 goals and 16 points. But Limerick fought back magnificently. And goals by Seamus Flanagan and Kyle Hayes brought him very much into contention, and a goal by Kyle Hayes will be spoken about for a long time to come. And this is a day to remember for Limerick. Full-time score in Pâirc Uí Chaoimh. Limerick, 2 goals, 29 points. Tipperary, 3 goals, 21.
look here, Donalow. Can you see? Everybody have a look, because you might need a bit of yeah.
So one of you talk to.
Do the whole lot, do it.
Yeah. Should we sent off at that stage?
Yeah.
So, are you showing that before Glenn was sent off or after? Sorry.
No, it may just have to be shown there.
No, we'll do the third quarter blitz. We then do the Kyle Hayes goal, and then we'll go back to the attention reds for Glenn and Flanagan. Okay?
So someone needs to take on the second one then.
The second goal.
Well, this taken on after
This is the third quarter blitz.
Yes.
110 to 1 point. Yeah.
So Limerick Munster champions for the third year in a row. 2019, 2020, 2021.
Thank you very much to Marty and of course to Michael Biden as well for commentary today. And Donalow Cusack, as we watch that out there today, putting aside the potential red cards that perhaps two Limerick players could have had in that second half, is there much else you could do rather than sit back and marvel at the fact that they were 10 points down at half time and by the first water break they were two ahead?
I think so, Joanne. I think that championship quarter, that third quarter, Limerick were as unstoppable as the tide in that. And a lot, or at times we hear people talking about maybe they describe the way Limerick are as being systematic, in some way boring and so on. But they're an outstanding team playing to a common method and a plan, and that's something that should be celebrated. This goal here was critical. Aaron Gillan, we'll talk about it in a minute, like we said, we'll stay away from the red card moment. He was absolutely critical to it. Like all good forwards, they're following the play out and coming from behind. He's actually the player that's caused the situation for Tipperary when they're under so much pressure. They don't know where to go. The game was going, even you could feel the game going against them before the end of the first half. He gets it side on, goes for goal, and the ball then breaks. Hogan obviously was unlucky, but Gillan key in every aspect of his movement in that sequence there to that goal.
And then Limerick started to get on top of Tipperary's puckouts, and Tom Morrissey, maybe had got criticism in the last number of weeks, was underperforming, but he was key to this comeback in the second half. And again, as Don Logue said, Gillan's influence in that third quarter was just immense. But like Limerick, it's hard to believe Limerick outscored Tipperary 217 to 1-5 in the second half. Tipperary got 216 in the first half, so it's hard to believe the scoring that Limerick did in the second half.
I think that man Joanne must take credit. I'm a little bit red from the sun, but red from embarrassment when I said Tip would win handy at half time. But he must take some credit, him and his management team, because they turned it around as well. You know, the players, it was just a privilege to be here, as Don Logue said. You know, to do that, you know, to win 3 in a row. Limerick haven't done it since the 30s. It's called the Mick Mackey Cup. We never saw him, but he goes down in folklore of one of the best. But these players are going to be some of the best Limerick hurlers ever. And what they did in that second half, as Ursula's just alluded to, is just unbelievable. They're a credit to their families and all their clubs as well of what they've achieved today.
And will inspire generations of Limerick players the way they're playing that game. And really strong in that systematic thing that's kind of thrown as a negative towards them. It's bullshit. It's said by fellas who don't understand what they're talking about. They're a credit, the way they work together, the way they work towards
and trust each other.
Absolutely, Ursula.
You both said Limerick hurlers, they'll inspire Limerick hurlers, and they're some of the greatest Limerick hurlers of all time. Are they heading towards a different... Could you take out the adjective there?
No, I think they'll inspire all hurlers. I was training this morning and we were talking about the match last night, and we talk about it Tuesday night, we talk about this performance, because we all look up to the champions, we all look up to the best, and that's what we all strive to be. So I think a lot of counties are going to be shaking their boots a bit after that second half performance. But look,